When people think about the mafia, they often picture a single man giving orders, a boss seated in the back of a restaurant, a quiet voice making decisions that ripple through an entire city. The reality looked very different. Organized crime in the United States operated through a structure, a chain of command that allowed hundreds of criminals to function under one organization while keeping authority concentrated at the top. Every role had a purpose. Every man knew where he stood. This is the hierarchy of the mafia. At the very top of the structure sits the boss, often called the Don. He holds the final authority inside a crime family. Major decisions pass through him. Disputes between crews, financial arrangements with other families, promotions inside the organization, and the authorization of murder all require his approval. The boss rarely commits crimes personally. His role is to control the system and keep the organization profitable while staying insulated from the day-to-day criminal activity. Captains report upward through the hierarchy, and every crew delivers a portion of its earnings to the leadership. That steady flow of money keeps the structure intact. One of the most influential bosses in American organized crime was Charles Lucky Luciano. Luciano was born Salvatore Lucania in Sicily in 1897 and raised in New York City. In 1931, after the violent Castellammarese War between rival factions of the Mafia, Luciano reorganized organized crime in the United States. He created the Commission, a governing council meant to prevent future wars between families. Another powerful boss was Carlo Gambino. Born in Palermo, Sicily in 1902, Gambino became head of the Gambino crime family in 1957. He ran the organization until his death in 1976. Gambino kept a low profile, avoided publicity, and quietly built one of the most powerful crime families in the country. Vincent Chin Gigante represents another type of mafia boss. Gigante led the Genovese crime family during the 1980s and 1990s. For years, he walked the streets of Greenwich Village wearing a bathrobe and mumbling to himself. Prosecutors later argued that the behavior was an act designed to convince courts that he was mentally unfit to stand trial while he secretly directed the organization. Directly beneath the boss stands the underboss. He serves as the second in command and plays a critical role in keeping the organization running. If the boss designs the strategy, the underboss ensures the plan is carried out. He supervises captains, oversees criminal operations, and monitors the flow of money moving through the crews. When a boss is imprisoned or unable to operate openly, the underboss may run the family completely. One of the most famous underbosses was Salvatore "Sammy the Bull" Gravano. Gravano rose through the Gambino crime family and became underboss to John Gotti in 1986. He controlled large parts of the family's rackets across New York, including construction schemes, extortion operations, and loan sharking. In 1991, Gravano began cooperating with federal prosecutors, becoming one of the highest-ranking mafia members to testify against his own organization. Another figure who passed through the position of underboss was Vito Genovese. Born in Naples in 1897, Genovese immigrated to New York and became deeply involved in organized crime during Prohibition. He eventually rose through the ranks and took control of the crime family that now carries his name. Every mafia family also had a counselor. This role was known as the Consigliere. The Consigliere advised the boss, helped resolve internal disputes, and offered guidance during major decisions. Unlike captains or soldiers, the Consigliere was expected to remain neutral during conflicts between crews. His value came from experience, judgment, and trust. One well-known consigliere was Tommy Lucchese. Born Gaetano Lucchese in Sicily in 1899, he became known for his intelligence and ability to navigate disputes within organized crime. Lucchese served as consigliere before eventually becoming the boss of the Lucchese crime family, leading the organization from 1951 until his death in 1967. Below the leadership level were the Caporegimes, commonly called capos or captains. Each Caporegime controlled a crew. These crews often included 10 or more soldiers along with a network of associates working around them. The capo supervised the criminal businesses under his control. These rackets often included illegal gambling, loan sharking, extortion, labor union manipulation, and construction fraud. Money flowed upward through the structure. Soldiers earned through criminal activity. A portion went to the captain. The captain then delivered a share to the leadership of the family. Paul Castellano provides a clear example of a powerful Caporegime. Castellano operated as a captain in the Gambino crime family for years, controlling major construction industry rackets in New York. His influence in the construction business generated enormous profits. In 1976, he succeeded Carlo Gambino and became the boss of the Gambino crime family. Soldiers form the backbone of the mafia. A soldier was a made member of the organization. That meant he had gone through the initiation ceremony and sworn loyalty to the family. The ceremony traditionally involved drawing blood from the initiate's finger and burning a religious image in his hands while he swore an oath of loyalty to the organization. Once a man became a soldier, he belonged to the family for life. Soldiers collected debts, enforced protection rackets, ran illegal businesses, and carried out violent assignments when ordered. Roy DeMeo became one of the most infamous soldiers in mafia history. DeMeo operated within the Gambino crime family during the 1970s. His crew controlled a major car theft ring that shipped stolen vehicles overseas. Federal investigators later linked DeMeo and members of his crew to numerous murders connected to organized crime operations during that period. Not everyone working with the mafia held the status of a made member. Many operated as associates. Associates worked alongside the organization without being formally initiated. Some were criminals trying to earn their way into the family. Others were businessmen, gamblers, truck drivers, or union officials who cooperated with mob crews in exchange for money or protection. Associates often carried out risky work that allowed made members to stay removed from direct exposure. Henry Hill became one of the most well-known associates connected to organized crime. Hill worked with members of the Lucchese crime family throughout the 1960s and 1970s. He participated in cargo hijackings, drug operations, and stolen goods trafficking. Hill never became a made member because mafia rules required Italian ancestry on the father's side. In 1980, he entered the Federal Witness Protection Program and testified against several former associates. As law enforcement pressure increased during the 20th century, mafia families began adapting their structure. One of those adjustments was the role of acting boss. The acting boss handled leadership duties when the official boss was imprisoned or unable to operate openly. He conducted meetings, delivered orders to captains, and appeared to run the organization while the real boss remained behind the scenes. Anthony Fat Tony Salerno is often connected to this position. During the 1980s, he appeared to lead the Genovese crime family publicly. During the 1986 Mafia Commission trial, federal prosecutors argued that Salerno functioned as a visible leader, while other members of the family maintained real authority behind him. The street boss handled the day-to-day operations taking place on the streets. He delivered orders to captains, collected payments from crews, and supervised ongoing criminal activity. This role became more common when official bosses began running their families from prison. Liborio Bellomo is a well-known example. Bellomo served as street boss of the Genovese crime family during the 1990s, before eventually becoming the official boss of the organization. Some men inside organized crime gained reputations not for leadership, but for violence. These men were often known as enforcers. The enforcer intimidated rivals, punished members who broke the rules, and carried out violent orders issued by leadership. The position was not always an official rank, but every crime family depended on individuals willing to carry out dangerous assignments. Albert Anastasia became one of the most feared figures associated with enforcement. Born Umberto Anastasio in Calabria, Italy, in 1902, he rose through the ranks of the American Mafia and helped oversee Murder, Inc., a group linked to organized crime contract killings during the 1930s and 1940s. Anastasia later became the boss of the crime family that would eventually take the Gambino name. Above the individual families sat one final level of authority: the Commission. Charles Lucky Luciano created this governing council in 1931 after reorganizing the mafia in the United States. The commission included the bosses of the major New York crime families, along with leaders from other powerful organizations. Its purpose was to resolve disputes between families, approve major actions, and prevent wars that could bring unwanted attention from law enforcement. Members of the early commission included Luciano, Joe Bonanno of the Bonanno crime family, Tommy Galliano of the Lucchese crime family, and Vincent Mangano of the organization that later became the Gambino crime family. The structure worked for decades. The mafia was never a loose collection of criminals. It was a system, a chain of command where money moved upward, orders moved downward, and loyalty held the entire machine together.